Our next guest was told by doctors it would be a miracle if he survived, after being given an almost zero chance of getting through after contracting COVID.
Mal Martin was put on a ventilator for 61 days and his wife and children were even told to say their goodbyes. After being in hospital for a total of 94 days, he is that miracle. Mal managed to walk himself out, surrounded by the people who looked after him and, of course, his family. What a moment that was, Kate.
Absolutely extraordinary. I should think he was punching the air. Amazing, amazing. Well, since then, Mal has been getting stronger, and he joins us now alongside his wife, Sue, in their first television interview. So lovely to see you both this morning. So lovely to see you, Mal, sitting there, smiling along with Sue. Sue, when you first spoke about what you were going through and the situation Mal was in on the radio, everybody was moved by it. And in fact, I was going through a similar situation with Derek, and a friend sent me a little clip of it, and I listened to it and thought, oh, my goodness. And here you are, the miracle, sitting there. But it's not easy even now, is it? You're still having challenges.
Yes, it's been a real roller coaster. Obviously, the time in hospital was very, very difficult living from day to day, wondering if he was going to make it to the next day. And we were told that when he came out, the hard work would start. And it has. The roller coaster has continued. Mal has lots of challenges. We've had to adapt to a different way of life. He needs a lot of support. We've all had to come to terms with what's happened. And Mal gets good days and he gets bad days. And he gets good weeks and bad weeks. So it's not a continuous improvement. But we are obviously over the moon that he is home with us.
And Mal, how are you?
I obviously feel great to be home and to be with my family over Christmas and things, you know. And you know, one time I obviously didn't think I was going to come out, and but yeah, no, it's been absolutely. I feel great. I'm frustrated with everything and what's happened to me, and you know, I feel, you know, my life's turned upside down, but I'm still here, and you know, and I know I got some challenging times ahead, but I know I'll get there. You know, I'm very determined. You know, and everything my wife's been through and still going through, my children, it's been hard and stuff. You know, and as I'm sure you're fully aware, I suppose.
Yeah, I wonder. You know, initially when we thought about COVID, it was you get COVID and you survive or you don't. Now we know a lot more about long COVID. We know about the issues that people will have if they do suffer for a long time, as Kate knows only too well with Derek. Mal, can you explain a little bit about what you're now living with and what you have to deal with because you had this period?
It's different for so many people,
yeah,
isn't
absolutely.
it?
Yeah. The issues I have, I suppose, is my kidneys are not functioning well. My hands, I've had some amputations on my fingers, and I get a nerve damage in my legs, certainly on the right-hand side. So. And also my lungs are not too clever either. I've lost some eyesight in my right eye, which, again, they've said I'll never get back now. And it's just the whole thing of just, you know, where I used to be able to, you know, run, do what I wanted to do, play, you know, rugby with my son and stuff, is all that at the moment seems a long distance away. And so, yeah, I suppose, you know, I know that I'm one of the lucky ones, and I'm very conscious of that. And you know, but I also feel guilty sometimes, you know, that either I'm you know, putting my family through everything you know.
Well, I'm sure they are delighted to have those challenges. I know, Sue, you're like me. We consider ourselves one of the lucky ones because thousands of others have lost people through this horrible virus, and we've got a chance to fight for the lives, haven't we, and work with our beloved ones to give them a future. But it is challenging and it is tough for you. I wonder what you think when you see people perhaps not appearing to take COVID seriously, not appearing to take, you know, the fact that it's still with us and the damage it can cause. We know it can affect the vulnerable and the elderly, but Mal was exceptionally fit, wasn't he? And it can take people in all sorts of different ways.
Absolutely. It was a shock for us, I have to say. We had concerns about friends and people that works for Mal, and concerns for, you know, our parents. But I wasn't particularly worried in those early days about Mal. You know, he wasn't one of the ones in an at-risk category. So it was a real shock to us when it happened. And I thought he'd be in hospital for a couple of days on oxygen and then come home again. I had absolutely no idea he was as seriously ill as he was. So, yeah, we're very, very lucky that he made it through. It's challenging times, and it's incredibly frustrating when you see the actions of quite a few people, really. It's disappointing, it's hurtful. And I do understand that if you haven't been personally affected by it, that it's much more difficult to comprehend, and you can't really understand unless you've been living this nightmare. And it isn't, like you say, it isn't just a case of people who die and people who survive. It is then the people that have been very badly affected, and it is different for everybody. Different organs are affected, and I just don't think some people realise the damage that they could be perhaps unknowingly inflicting on other people, because they may not have it, they may not be aware, they may be asymptomatic, but they could cause devastation unknowingly or sometimes intentionally to other people. And it is frustrating. It's difficult to know how you get that message across to that proportion of the population.
How has life changed for you? You're obviously delighted to have him with you, but how has life changed day to day for you, Sue?
I'm now really a full-time carer. I've returned to work. It took me a lot longer to be able to go back, but I have returned to work. So I've got a job. Mal needs ongoing support. The issues with his hands means that he can't be independent. There's a lot that he can't do for himself. So day to day, I have to help him. In everything, really. And he has hospital appointments spread over 5 different hospitals. He's seen renal teams in UHW in Cardiff. He's seen the lung team in Llandoch in the Vale. He will have follow-up in Princess of Wales. He goes to see the plastics team in Morrison in Swansea, and has surgery in another hospital. So our lives are an endless round of appointments. He has physios come in, obviously doctor's appointments, and just caring for him day to day. So, my life has changed completely, but not as much as Mal's has. He doesn't remember most of it. So for him, he was fine. He doesn't even remember the time that he was at home before he went into hospital. So he was fine, and then he woke up and he couldn't move. So for him, it's a shock, obviously, as it is for all of us, but very frustrating for him. And we can see how far he's come, but he can't really see that journey in the same way we can. So I don't think, with what we've been through and what the kids have been through, and having, thinking they were going to say goodbye to their dad, I don't think any of us will ever be the same again. We're not where we will be, but we're getting there. We're getting stronger. We're getting through it. It's a process, but we are getting there. We've had the most amazing support from our friends and family and local community and work. So, we'll get there with everybody's support.
Well, look, it's amazing to see you both this morning, despite those frustrations and how life has changed. Mal, keep going, keep that smile on your face, because it sounds like you've got an amazing family around you and friends and that community as well. And you just being here and sharing your story will offer hope to lots and lots of people who are
I was still at the stage, perhaps, that you were back in March and April. So it's wonderful to hear your story.
Yeah. Well, I don't recognise myself from those pictures of when I was in hospital. It's I put my weight back on and stuff close to my weight that I was before COVID. So it's been it's been a long journey, but the NHS has been absolutely fantastic to me. The caring of everything is brilliant.
Well, it's fantastic, and you're both an inspiration, and it's lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much.
As are you, Kate.
Thank you.
As you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.